All right, man, I got my boy Rico here.
What's up?
We here in OCS. Got about a couple days more and we graduating. We'll be on our ways. So for this video, I want to talk about pretty much just our basic training experience. Give y'all a little rundown. I know it's kind of a couple months ago, so memory may not be the best, but we're gonna give it the best we got. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first is we talk about reception and talk about just how boring that was.
That was bad. Reception was the worst. The worst part of basic by far. More than anything else. The first 2 weeks of just sitting there, all you do is stand in line, hurry up and wait, and get told to shut up. Rinse and repeat for 2 weeks.
Pretty much.
Rinse and repeat.
I mean, it's nothing but just paperwork. I mean, you're coming in, not really knowing what you're getting yourself into, and I mean, it's just, I don't know, the whole setup. Have so much time on your hands. And I'll actually say that while we're in reception, and looking back on when we went through basic training, I think reception might have been almost worse than basic training was. When you factor in, not being able to do anything,
I absolutely think it's the worst. Because you wake up early, go to formation, and the first thing you do is you go to chow, and it's the same thing. Hurry up, wait, eat chow, hurry up, finish, go run a formation, wait. So all day it's hurry up, wait, you get handed stuff or you get told to just stand there and look straight. Drill sergeants are just swarming all around you. You don't know who's who, and they're just yelling at random people. So the worst part is you're so freaked out when you're standing there that it could be you next.
Yeah.
Because you see drill sergeants just popping up. What are you doing, training? Mm-hmm. What are you doing, training? But then when you finally get back, when you get done with the duty day, then you pretty much allowed to do whatever you want in the barracks that you stay at. Mm-hmm. You get Wi-Fi, you pretty much walk around everybody's bay, make friends.
Yeah, that was probably like the one, like the good time for that though, being able to, I guess, interact with everybody and, get a feel for, I guess, people that could potentially be in your company when you switch over to, the basic training units. I can remember, coming back and us getting all the boys together in the bays and doing like push-up contests and, just sitting in circles, just, talking about life, getting a feel for everybody. It's pretty much like
we got lucky.
First couple times to.
We got lucky because everybody that was in the bay all went to basic, so we didn't realize, but we were already working on our friendships that would carry into basic.
That's true. Yeah. When I think about it, we had about. Everybody that was in our specific bay actually was. Majority of them went to like Delta.
Yeah, everybody that we were with were Delta.
We had about. We had some good people for sure, and we also saw some pretty reckless stuff too, some crazy things. I would say for a fact though, this is probably the first time, especially reception. You getting a glimpse of just people you're going to be going into basic training with, just people that are coming into the Army, and you get a feel for, people. That probably should not necessarily be there in the Army, and you get a feel for people that are a little bit more squared away. I know we had one guy that was in a reception with us. He was actually, I think previously he was in the Navy, and dude was hands-on. You could tell he was really squared away and had a good head on his shoulders, and I think he ended up bypassing actual basic training.
Oh yeah, he was like an E7 or something like that.
E7.
He was a big deal in the Navy, and he was gonna ride through it. But you meet so many different people in Army in general of different cultures, races, backgrounds, and so it just starts making it easier to really adapt your mind to meeting everybody that you'll meet.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like a melting pot. Oh man, that's so. But yeah, but one thing we did actually have was really bad was like there was like a stealing incident. It's one thing that really, sticks out to me.
I forgot.
It was bad. Because as we're going through reception, we're filling out all this paperwork, and we're getting our actual materials, our supplies and equipment that we need for basic training when we get to our actual companies, and through the process we're carrying around duffel bags filled up with clothes and and equipment like knee pads and stuff, and there was a time period where there was actually somebody, I don't know exactly who it was, but somebody that actually messed around and stole something, stole money from a number of people. And in total, I think it was around $600.
Yeah, they ended up running through everybody's locker that was unsecure. Because they obviously tell you that when you get stuff to lock it all away. And so somebody ran through everybody's stuff when no one was looking. I forget when. I think we went to like Chow or something, and this person stayed behind, somehow snuck off, and took everything out of everybody's wallets. They never caught the guy. So lock your stuff.
Yeah, pretty much lock your stuff. It's the moral of the story right there. But yeah, pretty much reception sucks. Moving on.
Yeah.
So we get out of reception. Well, actually, before that, we're getting ready to actually ship off to our, actual basic training unit, the place we're gonna be, the barracks, and we're getting everything together. And for me, I don't know how it was for you, Rico, but for me, I had a little bit of nerves. I ain't gonna lie. It's kind of building up the moments. Of course, you see videos, throughout your time leading up to shipping off. Videos of like the shark attack and what plays into that and stuff. So I pretty much had in my mind it's gonna be pretty intense. A little bit.
It was bad.
But
I was nervous. I was super nervous.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to admit I was pretty nervous. Then we were piling up onto the buses. We all got our duffel bags in our hands, and they telling us to get on one by one. And I'm sitting here thinking, please don't be the first one on the bus and don't be the last one. I want to be in the middle. I heard shit really hits the fan. Excuse my language. When you're the last one, and all the drill sergeants come running at you and stuff, and so that's what I'm thinking the whole time. And of course we get on, and they tell us to put our heads down. Put our heads down in our laps, and so we're riding, and the whole time the drill sergeant's just yelling at us and stuff. And then we actually get there, and for me, we start piling off the buses, and they start telling us to run to, our little spots, our formations and stuff. And everybody, we don't know where we're going. We're just running, at this point. We're just listening to whatever's going on.
Yes.
Watching everybody as they run. And, man, when I think that was the first moment where I realized, I was like, you know what? This really ain't too bad. Like, I think about it, like, it definitely wasn't what I was, imagining in my head. We wasn't that many drill sergeants in our faces, if any. I mean, we definitely outnumbered them, of course, with the chest of trainees. But looking back on it, shark attack wasn't too bad.
Shark attack freaked me out because the way it worked is, it was the first time we interacted with our drill sergeants for basic. So they walk up to you and they're super fucking chill right before, they're super chill right before you get on the bus. They just tell you to pack everything in one hand so you look like an idiot. Walking on the bus like this, sit down, and then they tell you to put your head down.
Yeah.
You stuff your face in your duffel bag or whatever it is you have, and then the next thing you know, you're at the spot and you just get the drill sergeants screaming at you. You see outside the bus, all of them are just like getting hyped, telling you to hurry up. Some people, they get told that like when they get off the bus, they just take the stuff from you and they throw it all in a big old pile. And so you have to run off the bus, find your stuff in the pile, grab it, then run into formation. That you don't know where formation is, so it's really a cluster of just everyone just running around with their heads cut off.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know is, while you're running with your stuff, a drill sergeant pops up, starts screaming at you, saying whatever they gotta say. You suck, do better, where are you going, stand here, trainee, so on and so forth. And that's how they introduce you to basic.
Yeah.
Day one.
Mm-hmm. I will say though, that was the first moment where I laid eyes on Drill Sergeant Ortiz. If there was one drill sergeant out there that actually had my attention, he had that command, that presence. Dude he's about 6'3", he's massive. If you ever see this video, I just want to let you know, there was that moment I was like, okay, this man, he's the real deal. Yeah, so there's 3 total phases of basic training. We got red, white, and blue. I know starting out, I think red, if I had to think about the one that was probably the most stressful, of course, basic training.
Red is
it
the
gets,
shock and
it gets
awe.
bad.
Red is everything you've seen on TV, or that's the effect they go for, is what you've seen on TV.
Yeah.
Drill sergeants screaming at you, don't think, do.
Hella smokings.
You grit your teeth, and especially if you're an OCS candidate, I think that's what these videos are geared towards too. If you're an OCS candidate, you're gonna notice that you sit above where everyone else is at. So while everybody else is sucking wind and in a full sweat, you're sucking, but it's not anywhere near as bad. You can pick out the other candidates really easily, especially in red phase.
Yeah.
Because they're the most fit and they're the most disciplined. So it's never them that are getting chewed out by somebody. It's never them that get caught slipping. Maybe every now and then, but they fly really low under the radar, which is probably the name of the game. Red phase, you don't want anyone to know you're there.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the name of the game. Be under the radar. Don't put yourself out there too much to where you're drawing too much attention, because that can definitely go bad for you. It can either go really good, you're doing everything right, which is pretty much impossible, but you're doing enough to get by to where the drill sergeants, they actually, they're okay with you. Or it could be the other way around, where you're just, you're the one guy that when they tell you to do something, they automatically gonna look at you. They gonna see what you do. They gonna wait for you to mess up.
Because you're the screw. If they look at you first, you're the screw. Just know it's you. You're the one that sucks the most.
And let me tell you, everybody in basic training has one, maybe a few. It's definitely a thing. And we definitely had our handful of them too. So red phase, we got a good number of tests. We get introduced to our, the PT test for the first time. And so, the smoking's, the way I looked at it, you can look at it 2 different ways. One is gonna suck, getting smoked, especially for things that you may not necessarily have an influence in, but it's somebody that
you get smoked because someone you've
stupid.
never seen in the past 3 days decided to move.
Yeah.
So there you are, pushing the world because some rando did something dumb.
Yeah, like Billy Bob, he shows up to formation, with the wrong uniform, or he doesn't have his shoelaces tucked in, his pants tucked into his shoes, and maybe he forgot to put on his PC when he came out. Red phase is really the first time where you're actually going to get instilled with discipline, the military discipline, hardcore from the get-go. They're gonna be on you the hardest. Because this is really just like a shocking phase. It's kind of like it's opening you up to what the military expects, and I think the red phase is definitely the one I think that weeds out the most people. The ones that at least already are having in their mind, I don't really want to be here.
I can't do this.
We had one guy, I remember him. He was in formation at one point, and then I think we was in between, training sessions. I know we was out there and we were formed up, and he gets up, he stands up and pretty much yells out to the drill sergeant, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm pretty much, I feel like I'm depressed and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out of here. I don't want to do this anymore. It's there's a couple of times, a couple instances where people are gonna do that. They're gonna pretty much tell themselves their body's gonna just shut down, and they're just gonna give up here and there, and you're gonna have people that are just hanging around, just there waiting to get out. And we had basically for the test, I know for red phase, we started out having to learn like the Army song, our general orders, and we had to learn like the ranking structure too. All that stuff was kind of, looking back on that, it's kind of wild, something basic like that. And to speak on that a little bit, it's not even like, it wasn't even that difficult. Do what you got to do, just study. Of course, people that aren't really taking it that seriously, those are the ones you really got to worry about, because there's going to be some people that just don't care.
And they're the
Bottom
reason why
line.
you do exercises. They're the reason why you get smoked.
They're the
There's
reason
nothing you
why
can do.
get
There's
smoked.
nothing you can do about it. Just know what'll happen,
And you can't.
and just deal with it. Just think, I'm gonna make my PT score amazing for OCS. Period. Point blank.
Yeah. I pretty much looked at it this way. I know a lot of, I know Rico's the same way. I look at it this way. The smokings, they pretty much make you unsmokable. Because the more you're getting smoked, the more you're building up your body and, doing these push-ups and sit-ups and, holding your legs in the air. I mean, that could be seen as a time to, improve a PT score. And you got some people that don't necessarily take it as, as serious during those times, and they don't really push themselves, but it's definitely a great time, especially for OCS candidates, because you'll learn later on when you get to OCS just how competitive it gets. And so we had that, and so there's like 3 total ruck marches that you have to go on in your time of basic training. I know for red phase, I know it's called the hammer.
Oh shit!
I can't remember. How long was it? Was it a couple miles?
I think it was 3 miles, man.
3
I think
miles.
it's 369, and then the forge. Right?
There's only 3. There's the hammer.
The hammer,
Anvil,
the anvil, and then the forge.
There's only
Okay.
3.
I
That's
know
what I'm thinking.
the hammer
369.
was the shortest.
Well, the
distance.
forge
Yeah.
definitely went 9.
I thought it was like
The forge was a fuck ton.
I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, the forge is absolutely much more than that.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
like 20 something. Marathon.
Yeah, forge is
But it's not all
Different,
of it.
very
different.
We'll get that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hammer. Though, so like
Ooh.
in order to phase up into the next phase of basic, at the end of every phase you have your field training exercise, aka red phase the hammer, white phase the anvil, blue phase the forge. And it's a culmination of everything you've learned in that phase is done on that field training exercise, and then at the very end it's a ruck march, essentially to get back home. So the hammer, all you really did was more shut up, do what I say, don't think, and don't get caught doing dumb stuff. And then the ruck march, which I think that ruck was a little, like, it was like 20 pounds in the ruck. It was something really light. And then every time you ruck on the phase up, the weight goes up.
Yeah.
So I think the hammer's 2 days too, 1 day, 1 night, or 2 days, 1 night, something like that. So you go out camping, you spend the night out there, and then you wake up. Once you phase out of red phase, you complete the hammer, then you get bumped up to white phase. In white phase, the focus is no longer discipline, because now you should have it. It's complete marksman. So white phase is completely about you and your weapon.
Yeah. That's where you get issued your weapons for the first time.
Yeah, you should, by that period of time, you should have your weapon that's going to be with you all of basic. You're going to learn what part to do what, how to assemble it, disassemble it, clean it, how to fire it, make sure there are no rounds in it, make sure the thing works properly. All that jazz happens in white phase. And then at the end, so every day you just wake up, go to the range, shoot. Wake up, go to the range, shoot.
Let's talk about those range days. And I know, like, when you get issued your weapon, so you're gonna have an M4, and coming into it, that's what everybody thinks about. Everybody wants to shoot weapons. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's get hooah. Let's do it. Well, let me tell you, weapon is a blessing and is a curse. It's fun when you get to shoot, but you're gonna learn.
Shooting was a blessing.
You're gonna learn that anytime you shoot a weapon, you operate it, you got to clean it. That's just what we had to do. There'd be times where we'd go to the range, and times we go to the range, we'd be on the range like all day.
All day, literally all day. From the morning you stop, you have an MRE for lunch, and then you keep going until it's a dinner time.
Yeah.
And then you get on a bus or you march, depending on your company, back to your footprint. Then you eat, and then you spend the rest of your night cleaning.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. Just
Whatever
cleaning,
it is.
Cleaning for hours too when you get back. I know the days at the range kind of went by fast too, which I
Yes.
don't really know why. But definitely got to go to the range a lot. You got to qualify with iron sights first. I know. I think the standard was like 23 out of 40 targets hit.
Yeah, 23
I
out of
believe.
40 pop-up targets.
Yeah, and if you get, what is the levels? Sharpshooter?
Yeah,
Like 29 or
Oh, should have probably
32?
looked that
32
up.
out of 40? I
Yes.
can't remember. I don't want to give you all incorrect
So based
information.
off of how well you do, the minimum to pass is 23 out of 40 targets shot. They're pop-up targets. So depending on what lane you have, it's 25 meter target, 50, 75,
I think it's
100,
100.
150, then
200.
200.
Yeah.
And so all they'll pop up in increments, and you just have to shoot it. When it shoots, it goes down, or when you shoot it, it goes down. That's one. So on and so forth. 40 shots for 40 targets. 23 is just marksman.
And you got, like, I think sharpshooter.
It's sharpshooter, and then I think it's just expert at that point. And then if you get 40 out of 40, you're a Hawkeye. Which
Hawkeye.
You get like a whole certificate, but it doesn't matter. Good for you. You get Hawkeye.
Bottom line, I mean, it's not too hard to like qualify. 23 out of 40, it's doable. I know for me personally, when I came in, when I started operating with M4, I mean, that was my first time shooting a rifle. You know, so you know, it takes a little bit. You're gonna learn, you know, during your class sessions, what your drill sergeants are gonna do. Probably wasn't the best, you know. I think I might have, for my iron sights anyway, I got like a 25 or something like that. You know, I don't think I was anywhere near, you know, getting like a sharpshooter expert. You know, I was enough to pass. I'm here now.
Enough to pass and get tagged out.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. And so I know we did that with the iron sights, and then we moved on to using the what's it? The scope, the ACOG,
your red dot.
Red dot. Yeah, red dot.
Whatever it is, I forget what the actual name is called, but you attach your red dot onto your M4 or your M16 based off of what you have. Then you have to zero, which is just making sure that the red dot is at wherever you're shooting. Once you zero, then you do the exact same thing. You go to the range for a few days, shoot. At the end of that week, you go to qualify again, so you do the 40 targets out of 40 rounds, and then you pass with that. As long as you get 23, you pass white phase and you're good to graduate. And then the same thing like with iron sights, you get all those accolades based off of how many you shoot. Big whoop.
Yep, pretty much. And let me tell you, if you're stressing out about, you know, what you're gonna shoot, hey, just worry about what you can, you know, the standard. Obviously you want to aim high, but doesn't make you any different than any other soldier that gets whatever grade they get. As long as you pass, you pass. So moving on, you know, white phase obviously we're talking about. You know, you got the anvil, which is I want to say it's around 6 miles for a ruck march. There's really nothing to it, you know.
Yeah, they just add more in your ruck and you go a little farther.
Yeah, add a little bit more pounds. Of course, we're cleaning weapons left and right. You know, that's pretty much the bulk of our training. And then also too, I want to touch on just, I know for us, we were in the same platoon, just in our interaction and our unity within our platoon. Because you're going to get to a point, and I want to say this for everybody, not just for, you know, for me, this is my perspective. But it may be different if you're coming straight out of high school, or you're 19, 20, 21, 22, or you could be college option, you could be somebody like me that just graduated with a college degree going OCS. But no matter who it is, because obviously I'm a firm believer, you know, age doesn't necessarily mean you're the most mature. And so the reason I say that is because, one, in our platoon we had a lot of people that were they were
jacked up, man. They were ate up.
Yeah, they were ate up.
They were ate up, man.
I mean, we had people that were the oldest and were carrying on the most. We had people that, of course, the youngest. I know we had a group that was, I think, 18, straight out of high school. And, you know, just the bottom line, it's really hard to establish, you know, an identity, for one, as a group, when you got so many people jumping in from different works of the world, and the world, but like the country itself. And you know, people come from different environments and believing in different things. You know, it takes a little bit to you know, try to get that unity and that congruity as a group. And I will say that's one thing that our platoon in particular we kind of struggle with throughout.
Yeah.
And they say, if you're doing the right thing, your platoon's gonna get stronger as a bunch throughout time. You know, starting out, you're gonna hate each other, you're gonna want to fight, you're gonna want to, you know, yell left and right, you're gonna be in formation, you know, cutting up and talking back. You know, I
hated everybody.
It gets pretty ugly.
I hated everybody. There is only certain few I could hang out with individually, but as a whole, I hated the whole platoon.
Yeah.
And it got like that for everybody. You just deal with it.
I mean, there's times where, you know, your best friends, you know, you're not really gonna like it, you know, sometimes, but through it all, you learn to get through it. And the bottom line is, when you're in those situations, you really just gotta, one, make sure you're in the right. You're doing what you can as your individual. But then, you know, what can you do to kind of affect the people around you? You know, what can you do to kind of ease the moments and situations? And
That's leadership.
it's really just leadership. You know.
That's leadership.
Moving on, we got blue phase now. Getting closer. Graduation.
But a team live fire, right? That was a big thing. Grenades.
Yeah. Kind of reaching back to my mind, I can't really hardly
Nah,
remember.
it's been so long, man. It's been way too
Yeah,
long.
so like we threw grenades, live grenades. You're gonna be doing that in basic training, so get ready for that. Don't drop it. Just joking. But yeah, gonna be throwing live grenades. Of course, they're gonna teach you everything you need to know. I actually messed around, didn't do as I was supposed to one time, and
You got no go.
I didn't get no go. Wait, actually, I did get no go. It was the time we were doing we were using our the dummy grenades.
You're a chicken wing.
Man, I messed around and I pulled the plug the wrong way. I turned it the wrong way instead of, you're supposed to turn it to you. Turn the plug to you, then pull it. Well, I turned the plug this way instead, outward instead of inward to your body, and I tried pulling it, and the little plug sliced my finger, and shoot, messed around and cut me pretty bad. Got me all blooded up. Had to get bandaged up and stuff.
You're not serious, are you?
I'm dead serious, man. I don't even know why I'm saying this.
That's
but
embarrassing.
yeah, that's my first time throwing it. You know, then of course they're gonna give you a couple times to do it, and you get back at it. You'll be ready for the actual grenade, because you definitely don't want to mess up on that one. You mess up, that could be a bad situation. But on top of that, we had, you know, all those different training exercises, and two, we had inspections.
Blue phase, we had inspections?
I think we had was it that big one with Lieutenant Colonel?
Yeah, we did. We did have that inspection.
Yeah, so you're gonna have inspections pretty much at every phase, and that's how you kind of phase up. It's your way of, you know, proving within your platoon that you're following, you know, the guidelines that are set in stone by your higher leadership, and you know you're
They shake you
executing.
down.
Yeah, they're gonna shake you down.
They shake you down. They make sure you're not stealing shit. No, God. They make sure you're not stealing food. You're not somehow getting crap you're not supposed to have. Contraband of any kind will get you in trouble. So candies, snacks from the DFAC, big ones, or MRE snacks, those are big ones.
Yeah.
But like they'll catch people with other stuff. Big thing to know is if you leave letters that you are writing out in the open, drill sergeants or anyone else can read them.
Yes.
So if you are writing and you don't want anybody to read it, you seal it up.
Seal it up.
Period, point blank. Because a lot of people, because there's a difference in inspections and health and wellness inspections. Regular inspections pretty much just make sure that you're in line and you got everything where it's supposed to be. It's just a measure of your own discipline. A health and wellness will happen periodically. It's very similar to an inspection, but the name of the game is the cadre or the drill sergeants will come in and will check all your belongings, including personal drawers, to make sure that you're not having anything that's unhealthy. So it's for stuff like mold, to make sure that you're safe. But drill sergeants use it as a shakedown.
Yeah.
Catch you slipping. Read your letters out loud. We had one girl.
We've had that happen.
We had one girl that was there that, like we talked about earlier, people from different parts of the world. She was there and apparently had never seen any person of color in her life, and so she was writing back home oh my God, this person this person that, and the drill sergeant that read it just so happened to be a black woman. And so she started reading it, and it was that girl's whole ass.
Yeah. It went on full blast, and everybody knew.
So the whole cycle, she was that girl.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's pretty simple. I mean, you just first always keep your lockers, closed up, locked up. Definitely don't want to leave them unlocked. That'll give a drill sergeant a reason to come through and just dump all your belongings on the ground. And nobody wants that. Come back to that after doing a formation or doing PT sessions. Make sure you have the right uniforms at all times. Remember these 3 things. They'll take it with you the rest of your life and military career. Heck, even outside the military. Always make sure you're in the right place at the right time with the right uniform. If you know those 3 things and you follow them, you're gonna be just all right. You're gonna be just fine. And it's definitely something for sure, especially when you're doing these inspections, because you're gonna have cadre coming through the ranks and looking to see how clean is your ASU jacket. Are there any loose dangling strings? Is your pants looking crisp? Is there any wrinkles or anything of that nature? It's small details. I mean, thinking about it right now, it's probably not something too big, but
it just measures your discipline.
Yeah.
It tests whether or not you can listen to instruction to the minute detail, and that you have all your equipment, because keeping accountability of your stuff is a big deal. So to just do it to make sure that you do those things.
Yep. It's all about discipline. Yeah, so get through these inspections, definitely
Sorry.
it's definitely weight lift off your shoulder, especially once you pass it, you get the class up, and you start getting more privileges over time too. Definitely, everybody loves privileges, right? You love having freedom, a little taste of it anyway. But that's all you're getting in the Army. You ain't getting the full-blown, full thing. You'll learn that. There's little things about things you gotta work your way up to. But I know for a fact, throughout the time in basic training, I know it's different based on whatever company you're in. But we only had 2 phone calls. I will say though, that depending on how you perform, whether it's you're doing really well at the shooting ranges, getting high grades, doing stuff like that, or you're getting a high PT score, that'll earn you extra time.
Individuals can earn phone calls, but you've got to do exceptional things.
You got to be the best.
You got to do exceptional things. Like you said, you got to get expert on your qualifying shots, whatever it is. You got to get a 300 on your PT test. Didn't you get a 300?
I wish. I didn't get a 300 though.
But yeah, those people, if you get lucky and you get put on a detail, and it's some really terrible detail, drill sergeants may say, you know what, you guys will get a phone call. So volunteer.
Yeah, that's another thing. Brings up a great topic. A lot of people say don't volunteer, don't put yourself out there, don't do anything that might draw attention to yourself. There can be benefits. It's bottom line is, when you volunteer, it's most likely gonna suck, because why else would they ask you, for people? But it could work in your favor. It could end up potentially giving you time to talk to your family or whoever you want to talk to. And also another thing, take it from me, it didn't happen to me, but it happens pretty much in every single basic training unit. Don't come here trying to find a battle boo. Don't do it. There's too many fish in the sea. And the time you have with your platoon and your company, it's just not worth it. Because that'll get you a rope written up real quick. I see you laughing. You know it's happened a couple times too.
Yeah, you do get recycled. You'll get recycled. So what'll happen? Obviously, basic training. You have no outside communication with the world.
None.
You know the inside of that building, PT field, and the range. Like, that's it. So you see all the same people for 10 weeks. Around week 1, 2, 3, people normally hold off. 3, 4, 5, it starts changing. People, it's like mermaid syndrome.
Yeah.
When these 4s that are originally 4s, when you get there, they start turning into 6s and 7s and 8s.
It's true.
Until you start grabbing at them and you start trying to make it move. And if you get caught fraternizing or having a battle boo, you either get, if you're lucky, you get sent to a new company entirely.
Yeah.
If you're unlucky, then they just kick you out. I think we had 3 sets of people get moved to different companies because of fraternizing.
It happens.
Passing notes, bad idea.
Not good. Because they'll could potentially get them, taken by the confiscated drill sergeants. They might read them out in front of everybody in your bays, and you talk about a time to be in the spotlight. But all in all, how would you rate your experience at basic training? Would you give it out of 10?
10? Honestly, man, I think that thing, I would give it like a 4.
Yeah.
I hated every minute of it. Every minute sucked, except for actually doing things. We went to the Missive, which was like your first aid training, but they put us in a simulation. That was cool. Going to the range, that was cool. I got lucky, I got put on ammo detail, so when the rest of the company went to the range, me and 7 other people went to go twiddle our thumbs, laugh and joke around and do whatever we want. Yeah, I would have hated me too, because we got out of PT, we got out of all smoke sessions for the whole phase of white phase. Like the worst smoke session that we ever had. Me and the 6, 7 other people were watching and laughing.
And it was not fun.
Yeah. But I'd give it a 4 because Red Face sucked. Shark Attack Day was trash. Not knowing that you would have like less than a minute to shower, that was trash.
Oh man, the shower drills.
The shower drills, that was a thing in Red Face. That was trash. You got smoked for anything. White Phase was sucky because I personally goofed up really early in the semester. Oh man, we bumped it.
Yeah, I remember that. We kind of got caught up a little bit, but it's good.
But the drill sergeants had it out for us. So White Phase was a little tough for us because me and him both jacked something up.
Kind of start off on the wrong foot a little bit. But
with the drill sergeant. Then Blue Phase, it was them being really nitpicky and trying to find something wrong with you. When they found it, they kind of held on to it. Yeah. But around Blue Phase is when drill sergeants actually started interacting with you. We listened to music one day in Blue Phase, and that was probably like where 2 of those 4 points are coming from.
Yeah, we can talk about graduation a little bit. I know for me, it was a great time because of course, we actually get to see our families. We have a family day before graduation, and we have pretty much the whole day to kind of chillax and do our own thing. And we get to walk around, showing our families, where everything is around the base, and just catching up.
Graduation was dope. I only took a picture with 1 drill sergeant. All the other ones out of like the 9, I didn't even want to see. No ill will to them, but I have no love for my drill sergeant. Some people say they love him, like he loved Ortiz. I don't.
Ooh, I didn't love him, but
everybody, I didn't like him. Whatever. If he sees it, great.
In all, we really didn't form too much of a relationship with our drill sergeants, and I kind of feel like that's another reason why, our platoon, we didn't really form an identity as strong, leading up to graduation. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I am actually planning to make a video for my OCS experience. Once I'm out of here, I get settled in the bullet.
Cause they'll flip the script on your like Wesley and Spike. You cannot mess with the light. Look at the channel.